Wagwan, everyone, and welcome to Film Shrapnel season number 3. I'm Tobias, this is Craig, and together we are Film Shrapnel. Hello, Craig.
Hey Tobias, how's it going?
I'm great because we get to talk about a fucking brilliant film today.
Yeah, I will
Brilliant.
be like, since I watched this movie, I've been telling a lot of people to watch it, and like, it is really good.
It's
I
very
really
good.
liked it.
Yeah, I really love this one. The Substance with Demi Moore. Bloody brilliant. Really like this one. We did try and record this episode a while back, and then we got major audio issues, so we're doing it again. But like I said to you last time, Craig, when we previously recorded this, we hadn't had the Oscars, and I was really gunning for Demi Moore to win Best Actress. We have now since had the Oscars, and she didn't win.
No,
Rigged.
and it's a
Rigged
shame.
that. Yeah, proper rigged. She's brilliant in this. I really, really liked her in this.
Yeah, she's really good. Like, I think like we mentioned before that neither of us really cared much for her before. Like, I knew of Demi Moore, but I'd never really seen anything that she was in, and I didn't really think much of her as an actress. But after watching this, she's great. She's really great in this movie. She's
So
built for this role.
I remember from Ghost with Patrick Swayze, and like she's good in that, but like it's hardly like a very demanding role, and she's just sort of like the incredibly beautiful love interest to Patrick Swayze's very handsome love interest.
Mm.
Whereas in this, she in substance, there's a lot of nudity in this film from her as well, and it's not remotely trying to make her look super glamorous or hypersexualized. If anything, it's a really unflattering. Like she's always nude in unflattering moments, and I think it really, really works. I think it's really well done. She obviously really believes in the role and in the movie. Um, and as I've said in the past, I think she's perfect for the role because she's almost lived this as well. I remember when she got some plastic surgery a while back, and people said that she looked strange and all this stuff. And this is definitely a movie about female body image. It's also a movie about Hollywood celebrity. Um, and I think she is absolutely brilliant in this. And I think
Yeah,
she's brilliant because she's probably lived a lot of this for real, like in terms of, having to be the epitome of beauty even as she gets older. Um, you know, and she's what, 62
yeah,
in real life?
62.
And she still looks incredible.
Playing 50, by the way. And
Yeah.
I would believe if she said she was 50
Mm.
because she still looks amazing at that age.
No, she looks absolutely fantastic. And let's not forget, like, she was with Ashton Kutcher for fucking ages, who was like 20, 30 years younger than her. And Ashton Kutcher was also very, like, a sought after, handsome Hollywood man.
Mm.
So, yeah, like, despite her having body issue problems, she still looks absolutely fucking brilliant. Um, and yeah, like I can't get over how much I liked her in this movie and how much she's perfect for the role.
So one thing that this film really reminds me of, and I've been watching a lot of his movies recently, trying to catch up on stuff that I had never seen, is David Cronenberg.
Yes,
And as you might say, the good David Cronenberg, because I think we discussed that last time. Um, and his whole thing, his body horror kind of films. This is really a body horror movie.
yeah,
And I really like that genre. I don't know why. I think it's fantastic.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's done really well in this film. And I really like how, speaking about more again, how comfortable she is with doing this. Like you said, she's lived it, but also like it shows that she's quite open about it. She's not just some ditzy celebrity. She's got a brain. She's smart,
Mm.
and I really like this movie. I really like the whole. I think a thing I will mention as well. The plot is not very surprising. It's very straightforward.
Mm.
Um, I've now watched this movie twice because we I think we recorded I think like 3 or 4 weeks ago. Then we had audio trouble, and then we had a few things, and we couldn't get back together. And then now we're recording again, and so like I watched this again. Maybe I think last night I finished it, and so I got so much notes. I've got so much notes. I have no idea where to begin looking at this is like, now these
Oh,
notes are actually a problem now talking about this movie.
well,
Um,
let's just start at the beginning. It's the most logical place to start.
yes.
Well, the opening shot, I definitely made this joke last time. The opening shot, they inject the substance into an egg and it forms a new yolk. And I said to you, that's just solved world hunger, but instead we're using it to make ourselves pretty.
Yeah. It feels like there's a great story behind that as well about the science and how it's
Mm.
been misused. It's just like it's like it entered the illegal realm instead of becoming like a useful thing to solve world hunger or something. It's like, but I guess like the idea of cloning is illegal anyway, right? In a lot of ways. I'm not sure.
I mean, but is it cloning though?
It's kind of cloning. It's like an unstable clone. It's like, because the connection is within. What is really the connection? How would you describe it actually?
They don't
What?
they don't they don't entirely explain it. All we know is you are one, you are connected, and then
Hmm.
we like I don't think Demi Moore is in control when she's the other character, and I don't think the other character is in control when she's Demi Moore. But they sort of are like distant observers of each other's life. But Demi Moore enjoys it, whereas the young one doesn't.
I was thinking because we spoke a lot about this last time as well. Like we kind of disagreed. You think that they are not one. And I was thinking maybe they are one. Maybe the medicine does medicine if you want to call it that. The substance works. Just that she's not mentally okay with herself, and you have to be mentally okay with yourself to take this. So you feel happy when you're both sides and you treat yourself properly and you don't abuse the substance, which is something we need to talk about as well.
Mm,
But I was also thinking maybe you were right, and maybe what it means when they say remember you are one is not anything psychological. It's like you're one because you're tied together.
mm,
You need the other one to live. That's why how you are one. But the way that he kind of talks, like there's a voice that a few times in the film, either Demi Moore's character Elizabeth or what's the other actress's name, Quali, something Quali, I can't remember. Annie McDowell's daughter, who plays the younger version of Sue. They call up this voice to complain about the behavior of the other half, and he's always like his answer's pretty much the same both times. Like you're one, like you gotta, if as long as you respect the boundaries and everything, it's fine. And yeah, now I forgot where I was going with this point.
You know what? I'll just leapfrog off that because she when she calls, she's calling to complain about the behaviour
Yes,
of the younger self, and when he just says you are one, which basically implies well it's your own behaviour. So as long as you aren't acting like a twat, she won't act like a twat.
essentially, yeah,
But they don't explain it further than that.
yeah,
Which I like. I like that it's left up to interpretation. A lot of it, like a lot of people have complained about the ending that it's like too over the top or it doesn't make sense, and I'm like, no, it's up to your interpretation. Like it's a non-literal allegory for celebrity. A lot of what's going on, it's non-literal. It's an allegory for celebrity. It's an allegory for body image, and it's probably going to mean something different to anyone who watches it, depending on your opinions of these topics. So, I mean, look, I think this is a fantastic piece of art. Um, some people think it's over the top and silly. I disagree. I think
Mm.
it's a
I
work of
I
art.
I think I don't know. Watching it a second time, I kind of like I the thing that what I find a bit over the top is the reaction of the crowd at the end. So a bit about the plot here.
But
So
I think it's over the top for a reason. Like I, one thing
yeah,
I
but it clashes a bit too much. I mean, like
well,
there are people they go crazy, they start shouting monster. It feels a bit silly there. The
one
rest of it is a bit more tonally. It's a bit more normal. It's not so out there.
see what
That
one
but that bit just sounds too much.
one thing I say to people who, because obviously a lot of my friends will accuse me of being like highly pretentious when I sort of talk about movies and stuff. But but my big thing that I always go back to is when you're watching a film, you have to assume that every decision, even the decisions you don't quite get, every decision is on purpose for some reason. And you have to look at any piece of art in that way. Whether you agree with it or not, you need to look at it like, okay, what were they going for? What do I think they were trying to do with this? Um, and like, and I think that over the top sort of reaction at the end, I mean, we'll go into it in more detail later, but I do think it it's trying to be mimetic of society, like the way we adorn these celebrities in the media, in magazines, in everything. We sort of make them larger than life, and then the moment they go and get some botched plastic surgery, we suddenly turn off to them. We call them ugly and all this shit. And
Mm.
I do think that that's present there. Like, like I say, I'm pretty sure people called Demi Moore a monster when she first got surgery because she it was a little bit botched, and people were like, oh, she's horrible now. Why would she do that? She looked so beautiful before, and now, and it's like I think that's what me personally, my reading of that is that's the reason. Like it's trying to shine a mirror up to society and be like, you might think this is ridiculous, but this is how we behave.
Yeah, but it's like an exaggerated form. It's like because you don't really act like that at um at a show for to say like it's a big the New Year's show is where it happens at the end of the film.
Mm.
But it's more like what if we took the reaction that we get in the media and then packaged it in like I don't know, because we are when we're consuming the media and acting in this way, we're not in the same place. I could be watching TV or scrolling something on the internet and like, oh, that's disgusting. This is fucked up or whatever.
Yeah, there's a
Um,
degree of separation.
yes, but let's what they've done in this last scene is they've taken away that separation. And what if you acted that way without the separation in front of the person? I think that's what happened there. Yeah, I think that's
I mean,
something.
it's definitely a crazy ending. It is a wild ending. We're sort of talking about this movie backwards now, aren't we?
I know, but it's hard not to. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just all over the place when I start talking about these films. But
Well, one thing I'd like to talk, I really want to talk about the opening scene because
go for it.
I I love the opening scene. So it's a shot of like a Hollywood Walk of Fame star, and it's what's her name? Thingy Sparkles. What's her name? The Demi
Elizabeth
Moore character.
Sparkle.
Elizabeth Sparkles. Thank you. So it's Elizabeth Sparkles Hollywood Walk of Fame star, and then we see it sort of over time, and then like it starts getting cracks into it, and then like a guy walks past and like drops a hot dog, so there's ketchup over it, and then it gets like cleaned up, and it's basically like just as a short film it's you can sort of read into it about like it's going to be about celebrity. It's going to be maybe about image and body issues because of the cracks seeping into the star. You know it's going to be violent because of the ketchup all over the star. And I feel like this one sequence, like you don't, it's nothing. It's one static shot with things happening around it, but it perfectly foreshadows the entire plot. And I really, really love this opening sequence, especially when you watch it a second time, where you're like, "Oh, this is just the whole movie, but in
Mm.
2 minutes when nothing actually goes on." And I love it.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. It's a really good opening.
Mm,
And I think also, especially the guy dropping whatever he's eating, if it's a hot dog or a burger or whatever, uh, it reminds me specifically of the ending, the
yeah.
final part. I'm not sure if that was intentional. Probably was.
Oh, I'm sure it was, because also that opening shot is also the final shot of the film, with
Yeah.
like the creature morphed version of Demi Moore and just her head. Spoiler alert, by the way. We are going into spoilers with this one.
They should know by now.
They
We're
should.
always going to talk about everything.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, that opening is great,
yeah.
and yeah, and then let's should we summarize the movie quickly because the plot's not too
No,
crazy,
all
and
right.
then we can talk about what we liked about the film.
Okay.
So we have more Sparkles. I think it's Sparkle, not Sparkles. She has her own fitness show, which I read. Her character was inspired by Jane Fonda.
Yeah.
So basically, Jane Fonda was quite a successful actress. I'm not sure if she won many awards. I haven't really seen too many of her things. But yeah, in the 80s, she had her own fitness show. And yeah, so Moore's character is kind of based on her on this. And she basically just finishes up her show, and basically her boss, the producer, played by Dennis Quaid, yeah, Dennis Quaid, uh, who you mentioned before, was is called Harvey, by the way, which is an obvious pointing the finger, obviously, at Harvey Weinstein.
Before you carry on, I'll just let you know Jane Fonda has won two Best Actress
Oh,
Oscars.
really? I didn't
Yeah.
know. I haven't seen too much of her films.
I, I've just looked her up. She's won two, and she was nominated for a further one, two, three, five more.
Oh, wow, she's
Yeah.
been around a lot, a lot.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, so yeah, so basically, she finds out that she's losing her job. She's turned 50. She's kind of seen as too old for what she's doing. And then she's in a car crash. She's upset, and some very handsome looking young guy with a very distinct birthmark on his hand inspects her and gives her this USB stick. She finds it in her
Well,
pocket. She
it,
sticks it in the TV,
it is
and
important. It is important to note that just before the car accident, Demi Moore's character overheard the Harvey Weinstein
yes,
allegory, Dennis Quaid, talking about how she's too old to be on this show, and he needs someone new and hot.
yeah. So basically, she sticks the USB stick in the TV, and we're introduced to the substance. And very quickly, just like a quick video, it just explains what it does. And immediately, she doesn't take it instantly. Like she doesn't order it instantly. I think there's a moment where she thinks about it. I can't remember exactly what happens. Um, but long story short, she orders it. She goes to this dodgy place to collect it, and she takes it in the bathroom. And then a new version of herself breaks out of her body from her spine.
And I can't, and I
And
like, and I think it's important to point out that she's so desperate to remain relevant that she does
yes,
this substance without really much context as to what it is or what will happen.
yeah. Uh, yeah, and that's pretty much the plot, really. So she's swapping between both versions of herself, if they are even herself. I think I was trying to think of the way that they're connected, and I think it's something like they're connected between like the fluids and the something neurological, maybe, because the bodies are two bodies. I'm not really sure how to describe it. But what the other one consumes and does affect the other one. So there is that as well. But
As
yeah,
long
like you
as
said,
as long as they maintain this balance of you go on for a week and then the other one for a week, and you can't deviate from the schedule.
yeah. And pretty soon they start hating each other.
Mm.
And yeah, that's the bare bones plot there.
Hmm.
So now, Tobias, feel free to tell us things about this movie because I'm sure you got tons of notes that you want to share,
Dennis
as do I.
Dennis Dennis Quaid is amazing. I love Dennis Quaid. I think he's great. I've always liked Dennis Quaid, and in this, like, he just shows that he can still give great performances. He's proper gross in this movie. Like, there's this one sequence where he's just munching on like a plate of prawns, and it's
Mm.
just the way he's talking, and then the prawns all gross around his mouth. Like, he is viscerally disgusting, which is perfect for a body horror film. But like, but his body horror isn't actually like CGI or anything. It's just him eating a
It's
plate,
just him.
eating some fucking food, gross, and like,
And
and also the way he talks about women as well is just disgusting, like from the ground
yeah,
up.
a, a couple of things I noticed about him the second time watching this. It's not like they're using any special effects on him. They're
No,
just using a lot of close-ups. Like
they
the
just
first time you see him,
yeah.
he's in the bathroom taking a piss, and like because Demi Moore is in the other because she had to use the men's, which is where she overhears that she'll be fired, and it's just like his face is just really pressed up against the camera, and that
Mm,
just doing that is gross.
yeah.
Like I like Dennis Quaid, but like he's just been used in this very
Well,
like disgusting way like this.
and if I'm perfectly honest, it's not like he's not a very handsome man. He is quite handsome. It's just the way he's been shot is really, really like, it just sets you on edge. It's just really gross. And like I say, everyone in this film, they don't mind being shown in an unflattering way, and I really appreciate that about all the actors in this, because most actors are really like uptight about their image. So when you get one where it's like, no, I want you, like, this character needs to be shown in a unflattering way, then it's like, oh, you really do believe in the role, and you're not letting your own image get in the way of of servicing the story. And that to me is what a real actor should be doing, instead of being so fucking self-obsessed that like Tom Cruise has to stand on a box so he's not shorter. No, but that to me, that's like over the top. For me, that's ridiculous that Tom Cruise is so obsessed with his own image that he has to stand on boxes so he's not shorter than his co-stars. That's ridiculous. It's also ridiculous to me that like people like Dwayne the Rock Johnson and Jason Statham have clauses in their contract where they can't lose a fight. Like stuff
Mm.
like that. They're just so obsessed with their image that they don't want to take on roles that can affect their image. But if anything, like, you look at Demi Moore, unflattering nudity, and yet she is finally in the public spotlight in a way where it's like, this chick can fucking act, and she's just got an Oscar nomination. I think she was robbed. I think she should have won it. Um, and yeah, like, this is proper acting. This is real acting. I really, really love all of this. I mean, there's that film Bad Lieutenant with Harvey Keitel where he gets his dick out. And now, if I'm perfectly honest, if my dick was that small, no one would ever see it. And he puts it out there for the whole world because he's like, "Fuck it, this is a good movie." And I'm like, "Great, that you're putting your own body issues aside to service a
Who
very good."
says he has body issues?
Well, he's a famous actor, and then he showed the world back in the '80s that he had an eeny weeny.
Ah, maybe he's happy with his teeny weeny. Didn't have any body issues with it.
It is a pretty, it's pretty little.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
I'll send you it.
What?
Everyone needs to watch Bad Lieutenant.
You're
Everyone
going to
needs
send
to
me the
watch.
film, or are you going to send me a picture of his
No,
dick?
I'm just going to send you screen grabs. Um, so yeah. So anyway, she going back to where you left off. So she takes the substance and then she births a young version of herself out of her spine. And this young version of herself, she literally goes and auditions to replace herself on the TV show. And so Demi Moore gets fired, but young Demi Moore gets hired to replace her. And Dennis Quaid, like, he's still being really gross, but like he's like, "Oh my god, you're amazing," and all this. And then when he says goodbye to Demi Moore, it's just so shitty. Like, you know, um, like he gives her a cookbook and like and packs all of her stuff for her. So you couldn't wait to get rid of her. Um, so yeah, uh, that's where we are. And then I suppose the young one starts getting all funny because she wakes up and Demi Moore has been just sort of depressed and binge eating for a week and watching TV. And, you know, she's not really liking Demi Moore. Demi Moore isn't really liking that she's not being because this is, I think the theme here is like, even though they are one in some respect, um, she like Demi Moore feels like she doesn't have any value left as herself on her own.
Yeah, she she ah, there's I'm skip. No, I was going to skip a lot in the plot. Am I allowed to do that? Because there's this bit that I would love to
I mean,
mention.
we've already talked about the climax of the movie,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Okay.
go
All
on.
right. All right. I'm doing that then.
Are
So
you
there's
going to
even a
talk?
bit.
Are you going to talk about the guy that she met?
No, but that is also a very good point where she feels like it's just a regular guy that she met from school years
Mm,
ago, and he's really like enamored by her and finds her amazing. And like he just randomly asks her on a date, and he's a bit odd, but he's a nice guy it seems. And then I guess at some point she kind of realizes that she needs to give herself some value aside from Sue. So she goes on a date with him. But before she can even leave the door, she's like obsessed with her image and redoes her makeup and then decides it's not good enough. So she redoes it again, but this time she's ruined it. She gets very aggressive with herself. And then she just doesn't go on the date. And it's like
okay.
yeah, as you said, so she doesn't value herself. She still struggles with her image even when she's trying to enjoy herself in her 60s. But there was another bit that I was going to say. Oh yeah, seeing value with her apart from Sue, determination. So we should mention that every time that Sue misuses the substance, or it was not necessarily the substance, but there's like this kind of food stuff that they have
Yeah,
to reuse.
she when she's the young one, she has to withdraw 7 days worth of spinal fluid stabilizer liquid from Demi Moore, but she can only do it 7 days at a time. But yeah, she
Yeah,
starts using it more than just 7 days, and like the first time she does it, it's only the one time, and Demi Moore's finger goes all manky as a side effect.
yeah. But then it gets to a point where she's like 3 months
Yeah.
basically without
Hmm.
swapping, and really screws up Elizabeth. And Elizabeth decides that she wants to end this, so she calls for the termination, and she gets it, and she basically it's a big syringe. You have to stab it in the heart of your copy, and basically inject it, and then she should die, and then they shouldn't be attached anymore. But she immediately after she does this, she immediately like regrets it because even though she's so upset and frustrated with what the other one has done, with what Sue has done, she still sees most of her value as being with her, and she tries to bring her back to life. How does she? Oh yeah, she does the whole switch thing with the blood,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
And yeah, but that was turned out to be a really bad idea actually to bring her back
Yeah, because of the
because
ambulance. they have a big fight.
Yeah. Well, I won't even call it a fight. It's more that Sue kicks the shit out of an old lady, and it's very aggressive.
Well, this is the thing, because at this point, because she's been abusing the substance for 3 months, the state of Demi Moore is like she's this shriveled, like troll-like creature now. And yeah, she
Yeah.
does she does look like a sort of 90-plus-year-old woman, but more of a monster than an actual person. It's really really good uh, makeup effects in this. They did win an Oscar for best makeup effects.
Mm.
I still think that it was robbed. More Oscars should have gone to it.
Sometimes I feel like when a good film doesn't get like best film or something, they'll just like, oh, I'll just give them like makeup or something as like to make up for not giving them the Oscar for best film. But they did also win best screenplay, didn't they?
Maybe.
I think they did. I think they did. Let me check quickly.
I mean, don't get me wrong. In May, we have the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film
They did,
Festival.
yeah, and they won best screenplay for that. And I can see here, so they won. If I'm looking at this correctly, actually, you know what? I'll go on IMDb, not just what Google says, because Google can be wrong. So they won Best Achievement in Makeup and Hairstyling. Oh, hold on. Yeah, maybe that was it. Sorry, you're right. But they were nominated for Best Original Screenplay.
They
Maybe
were
that's. I was
nominated.
getting confused.
They were nominated for a bunch, but I thought it was just makeup that they got.
Nah, they were also nominated. Demi Moore, obviously leading role, Best Achievement in Directing,
Yeah, yeah,
and Best Picture of the Year.
but it only won makeup.
Yeah, but I do some. I wonder if that's partly because the director is a newcomer. This is her
Maybe.
second film, and you know how Hollywood can be a bit like. Sometimes feels like they have to. It's like you have to put your time in a little bit, become a bit well known, and then you get a bit more respect, and people are more likely to give you something. You know, like I
Well,
think,
that's true. I mean, let's
yeah,
be honest. Like Scorsese had to wait for The Departed before winning Best Director.
that's
Um,
nuts.
and it has to be said that it's one of his weaker films. Not a weak film, but like when you look at his filmography, it's hardly up there in the top 10. It's still good, but like of all the films he's made, you would never have thought that would have been the one to win him his Oscar.
And the funny thing is that's not even an original. Like that's a
Yes,
remake of a Hong Kong movie, I believe, right?
yeah, I believe so. Isn't it?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, yeah.
insane. So yeah, well, we said it before, because you can't always take them very seriously. You can't use them as a measure. There's not really many good measures of a good movie. I find like we use IMDb quite a lot, but that's also quite distorted, I think. So
Oh, I agree.
yeah.
It's
Anyhow, back to the movie at hand. Um,
Yeah, I was
oh,
going to say, because you said, "Oh, name me one of the things that you like about this movie." I really like that when she's doing the substance and she's switching back and forth, she has this big portrait picture of her in her apartment, but then out of the window, there's this giant fucking billboard of the young one, Sue, and it's almost like they're just like staring each other out throughout the whole film. Um, One sort of, I suppose, hanging on to relevancy while the other one is being relevant without trying too hard. And like, I kind of love this sort of like stare down between the portrait, this old cracked portrait, with this big glamorous billboard. I thought I really like that. Um, I still think that this like workout show, it's very dated, and even when the young one starts doing it, it's still dated, but it is modernized with like modern music and twerking and shit like that.
hmm.
Uh, but it's still a pretty dated concept. This workout video, um, and I find it interesting because like all of the media that we are shown, it'll be like they're going to have they have sort of really sort of uh, basic names like the morning show, the New Year's Eve special, stuff like this. They don't give anything an actual title. It's just very generically, this is what people watch in the mornings in this universe. This is what everyone. This is what people watch in the for New Year's Eve in this universe. And yeah, I quite like that. Like it's very non-specific, and I think there's a reason for that because they all sort of blend into one. All of these things. You watch your morning TV shows. My mum always watched her soap operas, but they're all much of a muchness. They all pretty much are the same fucking show. But you watch it at the same sort of time every night. And like, yeah, I feel like that it's done on purpose. That we don't really care what we consume as long as we're consuming.
Yeah. I was also just thinking about how the fact that it's a fitness show, which is all about image.
Mm,
And she's obsessed with image and she's obsessed with being fit and young. And yeah, I think that's a very big part of it. I also had this note, and I can't find it in my mirage of notes on my screen, um, where I was thinking a lot when I first watched this film about self and how you change yourself, like if you want to like make some kind of change, and you have to. I think I'm not sure this is a big part of it, but it's just the way that I kind of read it. Was like you have to change yourself to become a different self. You
mm,
have to destroy your old self.
yes.
And it's kind of like a violent act. This whole thing of like removing the old and changing it, and and fitness is kind of like that as well, because fitness is a physical thing. You are kind of damaging your body to make it stronger and newer,
Mm,
or like to change your image. And then now I'm also thinking again, towards the end, where Sue basically kills Elizabeth. Again, it's like destroying the old self to create the new self. But also at the same time,
well,
and I
to
don't
be
know,
because I think, in all fairness, I don't disagree. Because the first time she takes advantage of like taking extra juice for an extra day is when she's sleeping with someone, and she's going to run out, and she has to go get a quick extra day dose, and then she can sleep with the guy. And but then the body of Demi Moore starts falling apart after that point. So it's like the sort of toxic new self destroying the more real old self, if that makes sense. Just to sort of
yeah,
leap off what you were saying.
yeah, it's not necessarily a good thing. I was also wondering a bit about the young guy. Well, young guy, the other the only other guy that we know has taken the substance, and so his number. I think we only see his number once when he drops his wallet, and it's like 207 or something. And I was wondering if he and other people have also misused the substance, because he does say at some point, like, so basically, more bumps into him at a cafe, and you can already recognize that he's got the same birthmark, and he says something like, "Has she started yet, eating away at you?" And like, so I think that it happens with everyone where the substance starts to impact their lives, if that makes sense. It
Yeah.
doesn't work for anyone.
Well, no, but this is the thing. I think that there is an element of substance abuse in this movie as well. I think that's why it's called The Substance.
Yeah.
I
Being
think there's
young
a,
is addictive.
yeah, absolutely, and I really do believe that there's a lot of shades of a lot of different things going on because this is ultimately a movie about celebrity. I think, but body
Yeah.
image is part of that, and substance abuse is part of that, and there's a lot. Um, I do, I do love. There's a bit where, because obviously Demi Moore starts eating a lot, and she's cooking from her French cookbook. And we know that she sort of has like a hallucination kind of thing where when Sue starts sleeping with the guy, that he unzips her dress and then all of her entrails sort of fall out of her back. Um, and then the same thing happens later, but in reverse, where Sue is dancing and then she gets like her bum sort of pops out, and then she goes to the bathroom and she pushes it round and she pulls it out of her belly button, and it's a chicken wing or a chicken leg. Um, and again, like, did this really happen as well? Like this is the thing. There's
No.
a lot. Well, didn't it? A lot of other
Do you,
crazy shit happens in this movie.
do you think that? I don't think. No, I don't think so. Because to swallow a whole one, including the bone, that's a bit mental, isn't it? You don't just swallow the whole thing with the bone. And how would it end up
Well,
in the other
we don't
body?
we don't know how hungry Demi Moore was.
No, I think it must have been a dream. Because I was also thinking about that as well, watching it the second time around. Because I remember that bit and I wanted to pay specific attention to it because I wanted to remember what happened there. And
Mm.
yeah, she wakes up after, like, I think it's a dream. Because I was also thinking, but how would we know it was a chicken leg? Because I remember it was a chicken leg. Because, like, if you saw a chicken leg from someone's stomach, you wouldn't recognize it as, because it's been partially digested and chewed
Well,
up and everything.
well,
But
it's
no
a
one's going
different
to swallow the whole thing.
it's a different body anyway. No, it's just a manifestation of how much she hates Demi Moore. Um, so yeah, so at this point, she does like the 3 month of no switching. She gets the New Year's Eve show. Um, and then like
Yeah.
Demi Moore wakes up. She's all troll mode. There's a great bit where someone tries to talk to her and she's just like, fuck off.
Yeah, the
Um,
neighbor.
and then you mentioned like the termination bit, but then she thinks twice about it because it's the only way she can remain relevant. They have their big fight. Um, and then Sue goes to like, I don't know if it's a rehearsal or something, but then her teeth starts falling out.
Yeah.
She
And,
starts
and
freaking out.
and they always do this in movies. They did this also in The Fly as well, where like their bodies start falling apart and they
Yeah.
start picking at it and stuff. Like if your tooth falls out, don't start pulling at
It's,
the other ones.
it's her teeth and then her fingernail, and always
Yeah.
fingernail. They always rip off their own fingernail. And
Why
then,
would you do that?
I know, and then her ear just falls off.
Yeah. Just leave it alone. Just
And
don't
again,
touch at it.
and I think you're right to point out The Fly, because I'm pretty sure it's the exact same things that start off uh, Jeff Goldblum's transformation in that.
Yeah. I remember when his ear falls off, when his girlfriend's at his place and it's just random bits just falling off of him. Yeah.
Mm. And then,
Jesus.
as Sue is trying to get out of the film studio, she gets like she's trying to keep her mouth closed because her teeth are falling out, and she gets like approached by Dennis Quaid with the shareholders, and the shareholders are just a huge group of rich old white men. No,
Yeah, that's
no,
great.
no character about them, no nothing. Um, but yeah, she goes home and there's no more substance left. She manages to find a dose of the original thing that makes you like birth a new
Activator.
person, the activator. Yeah. So she takes that, hoping to create another beautiful version of herself, and she births it out of her spine. And then this is when we go full on David Cronenberg times 100 monster moment. It's the monster mash, everyone. Now it's
Yeah.
the monster mash.
And
And she's got like bits of both of them all over her body. She got Demi Moore's face in her back. She's got a bit of everything. And she's all gross and monstrous.
how aware do you think the face in her back is?
Very aware enough that she crawls to her own Walk of Fame star at the end.
Mm. And I think this is the real horror for her because she's now basically witnessing her own demise.
Yeah,
Like she's been brought back basically from the dead, kind of, just
but
to
like,
watch everything fall apart in this most disgusting, terrible way possible.
but I also really read this ending as well. Like again, you said it was over the top, but like I mean, I can't help but sort of draw comparisons to Britney Spears when the whole world loved Britney, and then she sort of destroyed herself and her mental health, and we still just wouldn't stop. We wouldn't leave her alone, and like she shaves her head and all this, like the poor woman, and we just kept filming her. We just kept taking pictures of her, and it was and I
Not just
really
that,
feel.
it was the fact that we would kept talking about her and kept critiquing her as well.
Mm,
That's
yes.
the big part of it too.
And I really feel like anyone who's seen the South Park episode with Britney Spears, and I know it's played for laughs, but like by the end of it, I think it's very, very poignant. And I think this film, it's poignant in the same way. Like it's a dark comedy, but by the end of it, you're not laughing. By the end of it, it's really tragic and sad.
Yeah, yeah, it is. A quick thing about Quaid, I just realised as well. I didn't notice this the first time, but did you notice that he had like metal shoes or something in this film?
No,
No, because I noticed at least twice watching the second time around, like his feet had this kind of clanking noise when he was walking. I do not know why he would have had metal shoes.
he's a cowboy. Maybe he's a robot
No,
cowboy.
no, okay. Maybe there is nothing there, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he didn't have metal shoes. I thought I heard this noise when he was walking.
Maybe.
Uh,
I
yeah,
can't
I
say I noticed it.
yeah I remember also you had a problem the previous time when we spoke about this movie with the activator substance that you
Oh
spoke
yeah.
about.
Why the fuck is it still there? Are you telling me? Are you telling me that you haven't taken the bins out in 3 months?
Yeah, actually, that's a very good point.
That's
But
ridiculous. That
yeah, you
I feel. I mean, look, it's not world breaking, but it does. But I can't help but point out that this is meant to be over the space of maybe about 6 months or something, and uh, she still has rubbish from 6 months ago, unless she intentionally kept it.
yeah. Or you also argued before that the fact that it was just left there is okay, this is going to come back later. This small
Oh
bit.
yeah, you knew. Yeah, the fact that you didn't use the entire again. Why didn't the company send the exact amount? They send the exact amount for everything else. So why didn't the company send the exact amount in the first place? Like I say, you just knew from the get go that this little bit of the substance is going to come back at some point.
Yeah, I I do, but it's an illegal thing that they're probably doing. So like,
Hmm.
guess they're not really liable. Well, they're liable, but they're
No,
illegal, so they can kind of do what they like.
sure, but
Uh,
like everything else is meticulously like measured. So why didn't they send the exact amount of the activator as well? Because everything else is by the exact dosages, exact everything.
I was also wondering if the fact that Moore's character didn't use the whole thing the first time, she did it incorrectly, and that's why she had so many problems with Sue.
Yeah, that's an
Maybe if she
interesting
used the
take.
whole thing, yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't think of that. Well, uh, should we just really quickly go into detail about this ending and then we're
Go
done?
on.
Right. Can we talk about her getting ready?
Yes, it's great. I really
Yeah.
like this scene. It was very funny in a fucked up way.
It's very, very gross and fucked up. So when she's getting ready for the New Year's show, she literally has to stab earrings into the side of her head. and then she tries to curl her hair with a hair curler, and it just burns the hair off her. Not that she had much hair at all at this point.
She had like
And
three
then,
hairs.
yeah, she's like rocking a full Homer Simpson, and then and then she staples, like she rips the Elizabeth Sparkles face out of the portrait and staples it to her head. Um, and then, and again, I remember us talking about it last time. She still gets let through all the backstage stuff to get on stage, looking like this creature with like just Demi Moore's face stapled to her head.
Yeah.
Very obviously like a deformed creature, and she's still allowed through. Totally normal. People applaud her as she's walking through. And again, I still think like this bit for me. This is the bit where I feel like this is commenting on knowing how fucked up someone is, but still pushing them for celebrity, like Britney Spears was. And I feel like this scene really, when they're all applauding her, but she's all like monstrous. I really felt that from this scene, that it's like, even if Britney Spears had showed up to a gig like with all of her hair shaved and she's all fucked up, they wouldn't have stopped her going on stage. Do you know what I mean? And it's just gross how Hollywood treat you. And then we get to see the New Year's show, a little bit of it anyway. All the women are topless and their tits are out.
And there are
And
kids there as well.
yeah, there are children there basically watching pornography live. Um, and then Sue, Monstra Ella Sue, however you want to call her, she gets on stage. Um, when she gets on stage, the music and the music does like 2001 Space Odyssey. And also, like when she gets birthed, every time we see that the birth with the substance, it's kind of like that scene in 2001 Space Odyssey with all the colors flashing along across the screen. So I wonder if there's something in there about evolution or something. I don't know. But then she gets on stage. Everyone's kind of taken aback that like she's a monster, and she literally vomits a boob. And again, like this is definitely talking about exploitation of the female form, exploited until like there's nothing left of you, where you're just vomiting your sexuality up in front of the whole world, you know. Uh, and like this sort of the perception of your celebrity going way too far. Like I just love all of these themes that they've been built up beautifully, but then it's this huge fucking explosion of all of these themes just hitting you all at once in the last scene. Um, and so the audience notices she's a monster when like the Demi Moore picture falls off her face. Um, and then the audience just goes absolutely mental, attacking her, screaming, calling her a monster. She's on stage going like, "It's me, it's still me," and like, but it is still you. These are like, I do think that people forget these celebrities are just humans, human beings as well. If we raise them to the standard of gods, then yeah, when they don't match your standards and you just drop them like shit, yeah, it's gonna fuck them up in an awful, awful way. Um, and then so when they attack her, doesn't someone hit her with a baseball bat and like her head just explodes?
Isn't it? Is it a baseball bat?
I don't know.
I missed that. I missed that part. I saw something and my head thought it was a sword, but then her head grows back.
Yeah, this is it. When she gets hit, then she starts mutating even further, and then like she starts exploding blood everywhere, all over the audience, all over the stage.
Because she loses her arm, right?
Yeah,
Her,
at one point she's just spraying it from like a bloody stump. Yeah. And like,
yeah.
but again, I also see this as like an audience the viewer requiring everything that you are when you're a celebrity. You everything you've got, including your blood, your life, everything. Like you owe us all of this because we pay to watch you in movies or whatever. So we keep taking and taking, consuming and consuming. And I just love, like, I know people think that this is like really over the top and ridiculous. I think this is a perfect ending. I really love this sequence.
Yeah, I know you like it. It's mostly the audience reaction. I understand why people felt it was over the top. I still like it. I especially like how she makes her way back to the star, and the film ends where it
Yeah,
began.
yeah.
Um,
On the exact same shot, the exact same shot. It's just with her sort of disembodied head staring up at the sky, you know,
yeah, you've
and then
seen the stars,
she just sort of melts into sludge and gets washed away. And
and
so
she's
now
forgotten
her
about, like her
ex-
star was at the beginning. Eventually, everyone
exact,
forgets about you.
exactly, your celebrity fades.
Yeah.
Finished. Done. Love it. Love this ending. Fucking
Yeah.
amazing movie. Demi Moore
Took
should have won an Oscar. 10 out of 10.
yeah. Took 2 years to write. Apparently, the writer,
Yeah.
the writer director. I forgot her name. What is her name actually?
Let me
Need to.
look around. I don't know. I hope she makes some
She's
more stuff.
French.
Yeah.
Coralie, Fargo, I am not sure how you pronounce that last name. Actually, I'll look on Wikipedia because sometimes on Wikipedia it tells you how to pronounce their last name.
Fargay? Coralie
Faja.
Faja?
I think it's Faja.
Coralie
Coralie
Faja?
Faja. Yeah. So yeah, looking forward to more stuff from her.
Yeah. Yeah. I think she's one to watch.
Yeah, for sure. I've got a few more notes I'd like to mention before. One that's bit like that bugged me a lot watching this movie. I still love this movie, but it's one thing that bugged me. Um, is that she builds this secret room in her
Oh yeah,
bathroom.
yeah.
Yeah, she does it really okay. Firstly, how the hell does she have that much space behind her bathroom?
Yeah, I know,
Like,
right? It's
but
insane.
I think like in a few American movies, like there are houses that have like secret rooms that you just like they just break through the wall, and there's like they've got this like drywall, whatever they call it. I don't think this is a thing in Europe. I've never seen a house that has this kind of like a
Like
wall.
like wall space.
Yeah, we don't have
Yeah.
this in Europe, right? Is this an
No.
American thing?
Well,
Anyway,
well, I don't know. I feel like certainly in Europe we use insulator in that wall space.
you just have a wall and that's it. And yeah, an insulator
Like
on the inside or
like like,
outside.
like generally it's probably asbestos, but you
And
know.
you can't, but either way, you can't fit in that space. You can't fit a
No.
whole person, let alone a whole room in there. Um, but yeah, she just has this space, which I found was crazy. But second of all, she's like clearly should if she can't do a fitness show, she should be doing a DIY show because she builds this
Yeah,
freaking
she builds it without bringing in any contractors.
yeah, she knows it's not just like she smashes through the wall, redoes the tiling, builds that into a secret door that is unnoticeable. Because if I did that, you would fucking know that there's a secret door there. Because I would
Yeah,
fuck it up. I would not be able to do it so nicely. Like you clearly know.
like
And then
if that was me, I'd have to like re-brick it up every time I put Demi Moore in there.
yeah, and be like, you got a secret room over there. What's in your secret room? You
Yeah,
wouldn't be able to hide it.
I couldn't be installing a fucking door, like a discreet door. Are you joking?
Yeah. And she knows all the right things to use. Like she even uses like these, you know what sometimes they put screws in. These like plastic things. I'm not sure if you know. I have no idea what you call them. She knows she knows how to use them. She even uses a soldering iron at one point as well. So like she's like a DIY pro, and then we never talk about it. Like
Yeah,
it just seems a bit silly to me. I still love the film.
maybe YouTube, because
Maybe
like
YouTube.
I got a friend. I won't name him because I don't want to I don't want to get him in trouble, but I've got a friend who rides a motorbike illegally, and I've always said to him, like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, this is a terrible idea." And I'm like, "How did you even figure out how to ride a bike?" And he went, "Oh, mate, 10-minute YouTube tutorial." So like he he learned how to ride a motorbike from YouTube, and I would say if I did that, I'm definitely crashing and dying, but he managed it. So, you know,
Hmm. Maybe we
maybe
just have too much self doubt.
yeah, maybe if we watched a quick 10-minute YouTube tutorial on building a secret room, we'd be all right.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to mention as well about Quaid again was that Ray. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. Is it? You always say Liotta. I
Ray
think it's
Liotta,
Liotta. Liotta.
mate,
I'm not sure how you say it.
I'm a Cockney geezer. I'm going to call him Liotta, and if he wants to be called Liotta, he needs to spell it properly. It's
But when
Liotta.
you say, I'm just thinking, it sounds like you're saying the otter. Ray
No,
the otter, Ray the otter.
yeah,
He's an otter.
The French dude, the French guy, the French otter, Ray Liotta.
Oh, that's bad. But yeah, he was originally cast as Quaid's character, but he died. Um,
Interesting,
yeah, so
because
I,
I'm not sure I can really imagine him in the role.
yeah, I think Quaid does a really good performance. Like you can't put him without, you can't have the film without him.
No,
And also as well about Moore. So she also like when she was first approached about the film wasn't like she had never been anything to do with body horror, so it was a new thing for her, and she wasn't sure if it would be good or not. And apparently, she said like the film would either really work and be part of a cultural shift, or be a fucking disaster. So she took a risk because she wasn't really sure if this was going to play out, and it played out really well for her.
I mean,
Um,
I think it was a great choice.
Yeah. And also the director, Fajar, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, wasn't like Moore wasn't her first choice, I think. And she had to learn more about Moore. Apparently Moore has always been quite like a feminist icon, and she's always been totally open, like with being nude and like on film and everything. So she's really fit the role, and like you said as well, she's lived it. I also read that apparently, like when like earlier on in her career, she was like, "I want to be paid as much as a man. I don't want to be like get some lower pay because I'm a woman." So yeah, really was a good pick for her. This film.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that. I reckon this could easily change the trajectory of her career. I'm just looking at this on Google. Um, Her biggest influences for this film were, I mean, the director, David Cronenberg's The Fly,
Of
and
course.
all of David Lynch's movies. She's a huge David Lynch fan, apparently, who also
Ah,
died recently.
yeah, he did. Yeah, that made me quite sad when he passed. I was not
Yeah,
expecting that. Didn't even
so.
think of him as ever being someone who would die.
But you're quite right. Demi Moore was not the first choice, but all the actresses that were approached all turned it down.
Because they were worried about how they would look.
Exactly, and
Uh,
that's why Demi Moore was so good, because she didn't give a damn how she looked.
yeah, maybe you're right there. All right, man. I
I'm trying
think
to I'm trying to find who the original actresses looked at for this work.
I'm not sure.
Oh,
There's
this
a
is
lot.
interesting. This is interesting. So the director, again, we can't pronounce her name, but her she got critical acclaim for her film Revenge in 2017, and Marvel actually approached her to make the Black Widow movie years ago,
Hmm.
uh, but it didn't appeal to her because she wouldn't get a final choice or final cut or anything. So she was like, "Nah, fuck that. I'll do my own thing."
Well, she's an auteur, isn't she? She wants to. She wants
Well,
to do everything from the beginning to the end,
and I hope that she
write
carries
and
that on.
direct.
I hope she
Yeah.
carries that on because yeah, she's Yeah, I'm a big fan of her work so far. Maybe we should watch some of her other stuff.
She's only got one other film.
Yeah, this revenge movie.
Yeah, we should check it out.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's that then. You know my rating for this: 10 out of 10.
Did you give it 10 last time? I probably
Yeah.
did.
Yep.
I
It's in my
I
notes, Craig. It's in my notes.
fair play. I never write down my rating. I always think of it at the end after we've discussed.
10 out of 10. 10 out
Yeah.
of 10. 10 out of 10.
I think I gave it like a 9.5.
Yeah, but you're wrong. It's 10.
Yeah, you can say that. You're allowed to call me wrong.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. The only
I don't
other
know
film I think I've given 10 out of 10 to was a Nick Cage one. I think it was Vampire's Kiss. I can't remember.
it's a great movie.
It's not a 10 out of 10 movie, though, is it? It's not a 10 out of
No,
10 movie.
that's your rating. That's completely
Yeah.
your rating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I really
what
like
else?
the film. I think as a cinematic work of art, it is brilliant. And I think, okay, maybe it's a touch overrated from me, but like, I think anything less than a 9 would be heresy. I think it's up there as a very, very fantastic and beautiful piece of art.
I think this is probably one of the, like, I know we're only like 3 months into the year because we're recording this in March. I'm not sure when this will go out. I think this is probably one of the best films I'll watch this year for sure, for 2025, without a doubt.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I do think I watched this last year as well. But
it can be the best for both years if you like.
For me, yeah. I haven't seen anything that comes close to this yet. And I've seen a couple of films that I've really enjoyed, but nothing's come quite close to this yet.
Yeah, me too. All right, my dudes. I think it's time to end this one. I think this is our first episode of the year. We had to redo it because we had terrible recording issues with the first version. So annoyingly, we might have missed some great stuff that we recorded in the previous version that we might have missed in this version. But I think we got probably all the big main points.
Yeah.
The next episode after this one, I think, should be Heretic. And then I think we're doing a terrible movie, which I'm sure Tobias will love, called Twisted Pair. And then from there, we'll see. I'm not sure yet. We're still yet to decide it.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, we've already watched and recorded those other two. And I have opinion. I have strong opinions about. I like one of them. I have very, very strong opinions about Twisted Pair.
Yeah.
None of which I want to go into ever again. I'm done.
You've done it now. You put in your time.
We were going to do a whole group of Neil Breen movies. Absolutely not anymore. No.
Yeah.
No.
It's not worth our mental health.
No.
All right. Cool, guys. Follow us on Twitter, which is now X, and Instagram and YouTube, and listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. And you'll hear from us soon.
You certainly will. And until next time, don't you be taking all them substances. They're bad for your health.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Film Shrapnel.